Details emerge on the death of Iran's supreme leader. His daughter and granddaughter were reportedly killed alongside him. According to Iranian officials, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed overnight Sunday in what has been described as the opening salvo of a regime change campaign launched Saturday by the United States and Israel. The British newspaper The Guardian reported that Khamenei had not been seen publicly since the strikes began, and satellite imagery showed extensive damage to his heavily guarded residence during the initial bombardment. Trump wrote that Khamenei could not escape our intelligence and highly sophisticated surveillance systems, and claimed that, working closely with Israel, U.S. forces had neutralized him and other senior leaders killed in the attack. He said the military campaign, which began with a wave of missile and airstrikes Saturday morning, aims to bring about regime change in Iran. This is the greatest and only chance for the Iranian people to reclaim their country, Trump stated, adding that members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, and other security forces were allegedly seeking protection rather than continuing to fight. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had earlier said there were many indications that Khamenei was no longer alive, and Israeli officials reportedly informed media outlets that his body had been recovered. Iranian outlets reported Sunday that Khamenei's daughter, son-in-law, and granddaughter were also killed in Saturday's strikes. The semi-official Fars news agency, which has ties to the IRGC, cited sources close to the supreme leader as confirming the deaths. Early Sunday, the Israel Defense Forces said they carried out another round of strikes, targeting Iran's ballistic missile systems and air defenses. U.S. Central Command stated it was taking rapid and decisive action in accordance with directives. The Guardian described Khamenei's death as the most significant development so far in the joint U.S.-Israeli operation, which began with coordinated air attacks across Iran, and has plunged the Middle East into a new regional conflict with no clear timeline or outcome. Khamenei had held unmatched political authority in Iran since 1989. Following his death, Iran's Assembly of Experts, a clerical body tasked with appointing the supreme leader, is expected to convene to select a successor. Analysts suggest the hardline IRGC may be positioned to consolidate power during the transition. Iranian state media reported that President Masoud Pezeshkian, Judiciary Chief Gholam Hossein Mohseni Ejei, and another senior official would lead the country in the interim. Authorities also confirmed the death of IRGC Commander General Mohammad Pakpour and another top security advisor in the strikes. Netanyahu stated that several leaders connected to Iran's nuclear program were also killed, and that strikes on related facilities would continue in the coming days. In an earlier video address, Trump said the operation, dubbed Epic Fury, would eliminate threats to U.S. security and give Iranians a chance to rise up against their rulers. Netanyahu, in an evening speech, urged Iranians to flood the streets and finish what has begun. Iranian media reported that 201 people were killed and 747 injured in the initial U.S.-Israeli attacks, including dozens of schoolgirls. Iranian officials said they were not surprised by the U.S. strikes and warned that the consequences would be long-term and far-reaching. All scenarios, including previously unconsidered options, were said to be under review. The IRGC threatened U.S. bases and interests throughout the region, declaring that Iran's retaliation would continue until the enemy is completely defeated. In response, Iran launched missiles and drones at U.S. bases, including the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet in Bahrain, as well as residential areas in Israel and targets elsewhere in the Persian Gulf, reportedly including the Fairmont Hotel in Dubai and a high-rise building in Bahrain. U.S. Central Command said American forces had successfully defended against hundreds of Iranian missiles and drones and reported no U.S. casualties. A senior Trump administration official said the United States decided to strike Iran because its ballistic missile program allegedly posed an intolerable threat to U.S. forces and allies in the region, and that intelligence indicated Iran might be considering a preemptive attack. While Iran's long-term threat centers on its pursuit of nuclear weapons, the official said, its conventional missile capabilities present the most immediate danger. The president decided he would not sit back and allow American forces in the region to absorb conventional missile fire, the official said, adding that U.S. strikes had proven highly effective against Iranian launch systems. At an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council on Saturday, the United States and Israel defended the military action against Iran. U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz insisted the strikes were lawful. Iran cannot be allowed to possess nuclear weapons, he told the Council. This is not a policy preference. It is a matter of global security. Iran's ambassador to the UN, Amir Saeed Iravani, accused the United States and Israel of committing war crimes and crimes against humanity, citing hundreds of civilian casualties. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres urged all sides to halt hostilities and return to negotiations. The alternative, he warned, is a broader conflict with devastating consequences for civilians and regional stability.